when that doll came out the first time, they had a blanket over it, and I knew what it was, and I was like, oh my God. And the blanket came off, and then there he was. There was this little doll that I had been watching since the late 80s on all different kinds of, everything from the original VHS version of Chucky to the Jennifer Tilly versions to, I was starstruck. I was starstruck to be in the same room as that little fella.
Do we have idle hands fans in here? So let's bring up Devon and Elden. Gentlemen, we have this nice anniversary for this fun and often funny film, but we also have plenty of other stuff to talk about. I almost said this to you just now, Elden, but I figured I'd wait till I was at here. Daredevil is my favorite live-action comic book adaptation.
Thank you.
Throw that out there.
Yeah, thanks. I lucked out on that one. I have to admit. I didn't
twice.
know. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was saying you lucked out twice.
Yeah. I've been really lucky throughout my whole life, actually, looking back on all the stuff I've gotten to do over the years. So, yeah, pretty grateful.
And I will try to withhold my numerous born-again questions. But
I can't say anything anyway.
I know you can't anyway. The Kevin Feige sniper up there will start firing. But Daredevil's already my favorite superhero. But it really is someone who loves the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all those great adaptations. I mean, The Crow is my favorite movie, which is technically a comic.
That's a great.
But I mean, it is my favorite live, and just from Johnny Bernthal to, of course, you and Deborah and Charlie Cox. I mean, just the whole cast. It's
John Bernthal is actually the one who got me doing these cons
conventions
and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. We were shooting season 2, and he said, "Do you do cons?" And I was like, "What?" And then he hooked me up with this guy, Sean, and here I am.
The great Sean Clark, I presume.
Yeah, Sean Clark. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That's killer. So Devon,
Yeah.
you're no stranger to these events either, right?
Was that?
You're no stranger to these events, conventions.
No, I love doing these things. These are a lot of fun.
And who here is at your first horror con? See, this is what I love about Silver Screen. I mean, it's just everyone coming into this horror family together.
Yeah, it's a good vibe. You sit here all day and you hear amazing stories about, people having good experiences watching stuff you worked hard on, and it's at the end of the day you're exhausted from just the adrenaline dump and meeting such great people, and man, I love doing these things.
Yeah,
I really, really love doing them.
And you've both been part of such classic and iconic films and TV shows and things. But something that's unique even with this panel, and this is no slight to other folks, but you have folks who did things a decade or two ago, and that was the kind of the thing, and now they're doing something else in life, and they're coming to the con, and we love and appreciate them. But you're also both doing very current, relevant things. And I mean, we have Chucky fans in here. As one of those nerds who is very into lore and would be very irritated when things should connect and they didn't and didn't make sense, I love that is a franchise.
Yeah,
and continuing to the TV show, that it's like...
Yeah, it's I never in a million years thought I'd get an opportunity to be on Chucky. And I tell everybody that, like, when I've worked with like Stallone and Travolta and some of these people. When that doll came out the first time, they had a blanket over it, and I knew what it was, and I was like, oh my God. And the blanket came off, and then there he was. There was this little doll that I had been watching since the late 80s on all different kinds of, everything from the original VHS version of Chucky to the Jennifer Tilly versions to, I was starstruck. I was starstruck to be in the same room as that little fella.
Oh, we all get that. We all get it for sure.
So it's been a ride, man. And then I didn't know season 1 that Don would have the idea of bringing me back to play multiple different characters, and I think either he really hates me and just wants me to keep dying, or he loves me and wants to have me back, and I don't know. But it's been a ride, and it's been fun, and I've been incredibly grateful to be part of this world now.
Well, let's talk on the occasion of the anniversary. I mean, could you? I can only imagine the answer is no, but could you imagine that this many years later, we'd be talking about Idle Hands.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I actually can't. Listen, I put everything into that movie. I think the world of that movie. We had such a good time. It was like a summer camp. I'm glad that it has a cult following. I'm glad that I still see these guys all the time. So yeah, I'm not that surprised that
it found
people
its family. Yeah.
It's found its little run, its little groove.
Yeah, and I'm really happy for Rodman, he was such an awesome guy, and I remember him showing us, do you remember when he took us to his house and showed us those weird,
Italian horror films?
Yeah, Italian, cannibal movies and stuff? It was
I didn't get it at the time. I was like, okay, dude, these Italian cannibal movies, that's great. But now I'm like, oh, I would love to watch him again.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So yeah, it's nice that people have found the movie and still enjoy it. And I just remember being like, man, I can't believe they're fucking paying us to do this. You know what I mean? This is crazy. But it was a lot of fun.
Told the story where you snuck onto the. Was it?
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
So they were in full makeup with a bottle in the head, and they had a couple hours downtime.
Yeah, we were shooting. We were reshooting the ending on the Sony lot.
Right.
Yeah.
They were in full zombie makeup, and they snuck onto the Wheel of Fortune.
Jeopardy. It's Jeopardy.
Snuck onto the Jeopardy set and did a whole
Yeah, we took a bunch of pictures and stuff
of them in front of the Jeopardy board.
Yeah.
And they're in full.
All ringing in with their little buzzers and everything.
Amazing.
And then the security guard came to kick us out, but we did get him to pose in a picture with us before he gave us the boot. We found all kinds of stuff on that lot too. We found
they came back and we were on the Jeopardy set. Full zombie makeup.
Yeah, they shouldn't have let us. We were, I think, shooting nights, right, on the Sony lot. So no one was there.
Yeah.
And Seth and I we grabbed a walkie-talkie thinking if they need us, we'll hear it on the walkie. But I guess they only work so far since they were looking for us, and we were off just hanging out, we found the Ghostbusters car at some point, took pictures of the Ghostbusters car.
It was like you were at a convention.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And
there's a Halloween car here.
Seth is such a rad guy, man. He's just one of the funnest people to hang out with and work with, and super generous too. I always remember him giving me funny shit to do or funny ideas and stuff, and yeah, not everyone's like that.
That's awesome. So could each of you tell us how you got involved with the picture, how it first kind of came to your attention, and for Idle Hands?
Idle Hands was a different script when I first got it. It was not so handy. There was not so much hand. There was a couple hand scenes, and I remember getting the audition. It was a big audition in town. I think everybody was auditioning for it that was our age. And I was a huge Bruce Campbell fan, and I basically just,
the chin.
I've been watching Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, and I was I basically just went in there and did my best Bruce Campbell. I remember sitting in front of these Sony executives in suits, and they were all serious, and I'm in there, and I'm just flipping myself over tables and throwing myself into walls, and I told him years later, I did a movie called Black Friday with him, and I was like, dude, I just did my best Bruce Campbell and landed this role, and he was grateful, and that's how I got on. That's how I got involved.
Yeah.
Awesome. It was a bit of a I think 5 or 6 callbacks later, and landed on it, and so.
And didn't you work with someone with the hand stuff or something like that? Wasn't it?
No, no, not really.
Oh, I thought maybe I'm confusing it with something else, but
no,
yeah.
It all came from Bruce Campbell, really.
Awesome.
I remember being in an apartment building, and my apartment building faced another apartment building, and I used to practice with the blinds open. and all these years later, I must the people in the other apartment building across must have seen me running around, because there were so many gags that didn't make the movie. There was I was in my Jim Carrey phase as well, so Rodman Flender was constantly trying to tone me down. Everything was Jim Carrey and Bruce Campbell, like a mashup of it.
He's like, that was great, but could you do it a little smaller?
Yeah, it was exactly. I remember in the burger joint there was a salad bar, and I basically made myself a salad with this. And Robin's like, oh, okay, sure, we got that. Let's move on.
Eldon, what was your journey into the...
Well, it was just, like Devon said, there was, it seemed like everyone in town was auditioning for this movie. And I remember auditioning a bunch of times and then at some point doing like what they call a screen test, sort of mixing and matching and like reading with different guys playing, reading different roles and stuff. And and then I just remember being so excited that I got the job that like, I don't know, it's, for someone like me, like I'm just always like so stoked that anybody will hire me, you know what I mean? So like, I'm like, it was just, wasn't like, it was just an audition and I went out and I was stoked to get it,
And then this experience you mentioned of watching all these Italian cannibal movies and things like that. Tell us a little bit more about that. Like, I mean, it's for us here at a horror convention, that's pretty exciting to get that. Horror education.
Rodman is like a true lover of the genre, you know what I mean? And the movie meant so much to him, and I think he just really wanted to get us as psyched as he was, you know, which was cool, man. It was really cool.
Yeah, he's very educated in horror, not just mainstream. He knows all the indies and the foreign horror, and he was pumped to do it. So
I have to say, because we're talking about the movie, and where else are we going to say this? I don't know about the rest of you, but Idle Hands was the first time I ever saw Jessica Alba.
Yeah, us too. She was there. It was her first big movie, and she was focused. Like, we were all goofing around all day, and she was there to work, and she was great.
She's like, excuse me, I'm acting.
Yes, she was very, very serious about that film. So, but she's wonderful. She really is. Cool girl.
Have you ever asked her to borrow any money or?
Any what?
I believe she's worth $1 billion now.
I haven't heard that. She do well?
She did okay. Yeah.
Well,
she's got a couple things going. couple things going. Yeah. So we're going to take some questions from you, lovely folks. We have a microphone here, and you can feel free to line up. And I'm just going to ask you to tell us your name and where you're from. And if you could keep it to one question in order to accommodate all of your friends here in the community.
Hi again. My name is Anne Marie. I'm from Connecticut. Okay, so first of all, I just recently got to see Idle Hands for the first time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do have a question for it. It's going to be for you, Devon. Just want to start by saying I'm a huge Chucky fan. And when I watched the first season, to be honest, I didn't recognize you in your character. I didn't know it was you. And my daughter, I don't know how we got on the subject, but she said it was you. And I freaked out because I am a huge fan of Final Destination, the franchise, especially the first two. I was like so stoked that it was you. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. So of course I've been following, the whole Chucky thing. And you kind of answered my question earlier when you were speaking, if it was Don Mancini's idea to keep bringing you back. And I think it's awesome. It's just...
Yeah, so two things to that. I had no idea. Like, when I shot the twins, and it was actually nice having no idea, because you go, like, I knew we got all 8 scripts. I knew I was dying. I was going to have a good time. It was one season. Like, it's one and done. I'm done. And then at the very end of the season, he came up and he said, hey, how do you feel about coming back next year? I'm like, great. And then he didn't tell me how.
Right.
So for the entire 4 or 5 months before we got into contracts and whatever, I tried to come up with every way that these twins were coming back from the dead, or was it going to be a zombie or a ghost thing, and then all of a sudden I get the first script and I'm the priest, and it's like, and then it kind of just went from there. But I'm incredibly grateful. It's been it's an artist's dream to, like, I know it probably will never happen again, but to keep playing all these multiple different characters, and I have the goatee, and the priest has it's just creatively satisfying and fun, and I'm lucky. I'm very lucky.
I'm sure it's so awesome. And it's funny because going along with his the whole campy feel of Chucky, and then season 3, I guess I don't want to spoil it, but it's like then it was twice. It was like, are they going to, like, every season maybe you'll come back 3 times? And it was crazy. I was like, this is great.
Well, in the last season, it's kind of 3 times because they brought the father back at the end in a
right. You're
so
right.
The president's double, and the father comes back at the
But
end.
it's awesome. I'm so excited that you're part of that franchise and all the other work that you've done, and glad I finally saw Idle Hands, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Hannibal. I'm from New Hampshire. So my question is, so you guys were talking a lot about how you would just mess around on set. Was there any things that you guys just did and you were really hoping in your young minds, like, wow, I hope they put this in the movie, but never got put into the movie?
For me, a ton of stuff. I was all over the editing room floor. I'm still to this day wondering why some things didn't make the film.
Can we hear about them at least?
What's that?
Can we hear about them to visualize it?
You know what? There was a lot of improv. A lot of improv was in that, especially from Seth. But all Seth stuff made it. The whole burrito thing was all like, out of nowhere. He's really good at that. The movie, there was a lot of improv in the movie, so a lot of stuff you wonder if it's going to make the cut. So.
Yeah, it was just, I think, not to keep going back to Rodman, but he just created an environment that was like really creative and loose, and we could try things, and if it didn't work, it didn't work, but if it did, then it would be. And also, again, Seth is such a generous guy, and all the time was like trying to give me funny things to do, and like it was. It's hard to remember anything specific because it was a long time ago. But
I remember it all.
Do you? That's amazing.
25th anniversary extended cut. Put all that stuff back.
They did a commentary that's quite. I don't know if anybody's seen the special edition. You did the commentary, right?
Yeah.
That's quite worth checking out. It's quite funny. Seth and Rodman did it, right?
Yeah.
So it's on the special. I bet you there's more than that because it was a while. It was like 10 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was a while back.
Hi, I'm Brian. I live nearby. I've got the big Final Destination question for Devon.
Okay.
So was it the filmmaker's decision not to bring you back, or did you decline? And did you have FOMO missing out on the rest of the...
It was a scheduling thing. It was just, I was in a different place at the time, so it's just a scheduling thing.
Did you have FOMO missing out on the rest of the franchise? Have you seen any of the sequels?
I love them, yeah. I think it was always the filmmakers, they pivoted, they just wanted every film to be a new cast of young actors instead of making it a continuous story. Mm-hmm. I think that was one of the reasons they did it. I've seen every film. I'm a huge fan of 5, which was the last one. The young gentleman, Teo, who played my son in Chucky, on season 1 is now one of the leads of the newest one. And I was the first person he called to tell me that he got the role. And every hair on my arm stood up, and I'm so proud of him. And I can't wait. I'm going to be there at the premiere, and I can't wait to see what he does with the idea. Like
he's not playing like an unknown son of yours in the film or anything.
No, he's not playing the son of mine in that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you never know. I didn't even think of that, but he could. I don't. It is called Bloodlines, so you never know. But I'm hearing the movie is phenomenal, and so I can't wait to. I'm proud of him, and I can't wait to be there for it. So I'm proud of all the kids from everyone that's taken over the franchise each episode. I don't know, but they're all great.
Thank you.
We had the great Tony Todd with us at Silver Screen Con, and we talked a little bit about that too. Bloodlines.
Did you say Tony Todd?
Yeah.
He and I unintentionally rode on the plane together one time.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was like we rode on the plane together. We took a photo. It was pretty cool. So,
I'd be terrified.
Yeah.
Get on the plane with the two of you.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm from Massachusetts. And I was wondering, you guys both have really big things coming up with the new Chucky season, hopefully, right?
I can tell you this for sure. What I know for sure is that they're doing more Chucky stuff next year. They don't know what. Could be season 4, could be a couple of movies, could be I don't know. We don't know. But Chucky's a machine, needs to keep moving. So they're for sure doing Chucky stuff next year.
So do you think you're going to have multiple roles again in one season?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was also wondering, is there anything from Daredevil you can talk about?
No. Dude.
Listen, someone's
what I can tell you is that the level of security that Marvel has regarding this stuff.
There's a sniper on the.
Yeah, they're actually holding my son hostage right now. And if I say anything, that's it.
Well, I don't want your son to get hurt.
Yeah,
so,
thank
all
you.
right, then I won't ask anything.
Well, one thing you can talk about, because you have talked about it, it's out there, is that Foggy and Karen, as this show was coming back, weren't as big a part of it as you've now become, and you're now and that's been something for us. #Save Daredevil people, which I was one of.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying to someone earlier that, and listen, I don't know how it all actually happened, but my gut feeling is that the fans really had a major part in that. Because the support was incredible, absolutely incredible, and yeah, I think they were heard, which I think is really cool, and I love working with Deborah. She's one of the nicest people in the world, and so yeah, it's exciting, It's I didn't know anything about the comic book world, to be honest. And being now thrust into that whole world, and the love that people have for the comic, at conventions and stuff, I'll have fathers and sons come through the line, or fathers and daughters, and they both love the series, and that's really kind of touching for me, because I would love to have something like that with my son, this thing that we both love, and something that's been around forever, so. And I'm just lucky to be a part of it, Foggy's a character that was around way before me and will be around way after me, and so it's just, I'm just lucky enough to have a little piece of it.
And this is, I apologize in advance for how nerdy this is, but I was also a big proponent of just make Daredevil canon already. And that's something that finally, in recent years, and even moving it into the official Marvel timeline on Disney Plus. I know this is small details, but for us fans, it was just yes, we did it. They said it. They admitted it. They never said it wasn't, but they never said it was.
Right.
Now it's it's fully integrated, and we were all really attached to all those performances and all those stories, and it's so awesome that it's coming back. So. Yeah,
it's exciting. I like seeing how excited people are for it, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's really cool. I'm super blessed and really grateful to be a part of it.
I may or may not have cosplayed as Daredevil at San Diego Comic-Con. So yes, thank you for your questions.
Hi, I'm Angela from Connecticut, and Idle Hands is one of my favorite movies. I watch it every Halloween, and Casper. But anyway, I was wondering, you were talking a lot about Bruce Campbell and how that was your inspiration. Have you heard the theory that it's his hand from Evil Dead that attacks everybody, even though it is your hand, but they say it's the same possession or something. It's correlated because his hand gets possessed and your hand gets possessed. That somehow they could do a crossover of the hands.
If that gets us an Idle Hands 2, we'll go with it.
Yeah, hand
I would
versus hand.
love to make an Idle Hands too. I would be so down.
They pitched it. Seth and the director of Black Friday pitched it, and the fact that so many wanted to hear the pitch means they're kind of interested.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
The pitch didn't work, but I'd love to do it too.
Yeah, I would be there in a heartbeat.
Hi, gentlemen. I'm Jennifer from Cincinnati, Ohio. Devon, I love you. You were my crush, first crush ever. Can I keep you? Just kidding. But for real. Anyway, so my question, Idle Hands is a comfort movie for me too. I love it. It's every year. Now my kids watch it and they love it. It's me, Leatherface. They crack up. And you pushing the dog in front because you were scared and hid under the blanket. They love it. I love it. My question was, did you ever try the oregano combination and smoke it? And what did you smoke in the movie? Or were you just really acting and coughed for you know.
I think I did smoke the oregano on the day.
Oh my God.
Or it was, I don't know. But listen, I'm sure I've done worse. Listen, the 90s were a different time.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Oregano or whatever else was.
Yeah, I just always wondered because, you know, hey. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Now I cook with oregano.
Hi, I'm Tyler from Syracuse, New York. Devon, your hand acting in Idle Hands was so convincing. Like, it really seemed like it was a separate being you were fighting. Did you have a process to warm yourself up for that every day?
That's a great question.
No, I think that when you're young like that, you're just fearless, and so you don't. I don't know. I just wasn't worried about. I don't know. I just did it. I don't know. I did spend a lot of time practicing things that a lot of stuff didn't make it. A lot of stuff did. The whole remote with the cat thing. I spent a lot of time practicing. Yeah, and then Rodman had a lot to do with saying what worked, what didn't work, pulling me aside after takes, saying the hand you lost. Like, because it had to be always alive, right? So he would remind me that to keep it alive in certain instances, and but yeah, it all came together.
Yeah, great work. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Kara from Illinois. Devon, I want to know what your favorite death in the Chucky series was for yourself.
Okay.
Like, what one you thought was the just coolest way to die?
So the best one, the most fun I had shooting was the elevator scene, because they filled the whole elevator with blood, and I swam around for the day, and I felt very like The Shining. It just felt.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The elevator was built like The Shining. It was kind of a throwback to The Shining, and I waded around in the pool up to my eyes all day, and it was cold, but it was fun to shoot. The best one was the blow up when they blew me up.
Yeah.
With all the different camera angles. I think that turned out the best. And it was a throwback to the movie The Fury, which Don Mancini loves, which I didn't know about until.
Oh, you know now.
But every one of the deaths was cool to shoot.
Awesome.
They're all fun.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Quinn. I'm from New Jersey. Devon Sawa, I have a question for you. So, what was the most difficult thing filming for Final Destination that you can recall?
The whole movie Final Destination was tough to shoot because it was in Canada, it was all at night, it was long days, it was cold, it was rainy, it was wet, and a lot of it was shot practicals. And like, for instance, the bus sequence took 2 or 3 days to shoot. I didn't, at least, know everything that was going on. It was like, we did one shot where there was a dummy, and then another shot where the bus was going, with nothing. And I remember it being a long, hard, cold shoot. But then when you see the movie put together, it made it all worth it. It was tough. It was a tough shoot. It wasn't, a movie like Idle Hands was shot in California, and it was fun day. Not for these guys. I remember every day I would roll into work at like 9 a.m. in the morning and complain about how tired I was. And they had been there for like 4 hours going through the whole makeup.
Yeah, long. Yeah.
Oh, it's so early. I'm so tired.
That's hilarious. It's totally fine.
And also, Elden, I loved you in Daredevil as well.
Oh, thanks, man.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I love the
Thank
franchise.
you. I appreciate that. Thanks, man.
Hello. My first con, I'm Misty. I'm from Indiana, and I'm with my daughter, experiencing it with her.
I grew up in Indiana, so shout out to my
We're in
fellow
Jeff.
Hoosiers.
Jeffersonville, right across from Louisville,
right on.
Kentucky.
Oh, okay. So I was in Indianapolis, but
It's still Indiana. We're still all Hoosiers. I got a question for both y'all. What was your favorite character and movie to do of all times?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, they're all special for different reasons. You know what I mean? But
I know one of yours we talked yesterday.
Yeah.
Alex. That's one of my favorite of yours. was Pollux in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, that was
I love
that was a blast
and
because
yours is Idle Hands for me. That's my favorite that he was in.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that that was one of the more fun movies I've ever made.
That was awesome.
Idle Hands,
You could answer it that way. What was the funnest one you've done?
Yeah, I would have to say Idle Hands for me because it was. We had a good time.
Yeah, because it was the 90s. It was a different time.
Yeah.
Thank God for no camera phones.
I know. Jeez, seriously.
So much oregano. There was so much oregano going around. A lot of oregano.
Yeah.
I'm Taylor. I'm from Maine. I kind of have a silly question for you. You guys are both in long-standing shows. I know it's different for movies. You know, you can rewatch a movie super easily. Do you guys watch the shows that you're in? I know that it might be hard because, I mean, you know how much work that you put into it.
I don't.
It's fair.
No.
Super fair.
No.
I watch it at least once. Like I'll watch. Like I don't revisit things. I don't go home at night and like, oh, I'm going to watch my stuff.
Throw on, yeah. Crazy.
Maybe I do.
Hi, my name is Jonathan.
What Devon Sawa movie can I put on tonight? Just go to the whole catalog.
I actually had a question for both of you. Devon,
yeah.
On the series, I actually had a question that kind of piggybacked off another thing somebody asked. But what was your favorite death from the show, period? Chucky.
Geez. I don't know. There's the wife scene in the first season where she falls from
the window
onto the car
was
really cool. The maid was really cool. I mean, he just keeps, that's his whole thing. Don is like, he wants to continuously make, like I heard a death scene that's not going to make the show. Like they were going to do a season where it was going to be on a cruise ship, which is not going to go. And I was going to be thrown to the sharks at the end. Like I was supposed to make it. At the end I was supposed to be, and I was so excited to do it. But he constantly just tries to one-up himself, like with deaths. So it just keeps getting better. But I would say those two deaths were my favorite.
Cool. Cool. Good answer. Eldon, I actually had a question for you about Daredevil. Any scenes in particular that stick out to you or were your favorite to film?
From the first 3 seasons?
Yeah, any ones you've already done that everyone's already seen, obviously. Don't want you getting your son taken.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. I was talking about this the other day with someone, is that I went from doing the Hunger Games, where, my character didn't talk at all, which was awesome. And then to playing Foggy, where I had to memorize a lot of lines, and he was just talking all the time. So I remember thinking man, I really wish I was still doing the Hunger Games. It's a lot easier when you just roll out of bed and show up on set and just stand around. You don't have to remember anything. But I don't know. I think just. Anytime, on the first season, one of the early things we shot, I was walking down 2nd Avenue talking on the phone. And New York City, shooting in New York City is unlike shooting anywhere else, that city is so alive, and it was such a treat that we actually got to shoot there, because a lot of times you don't shoot in the place that whatever you're shooting takes place. Yeah. So the fact that we got to shoot in New York, and the fact that New York really is a character in that movie, and it's a kind of a love letter to Hell's Kitchen, and so that was, anytime I got to actually be out on the street and stuff was kind of my favorite stuff to do, because you can really feel and feed off the energy of all the other people around you and stuff. So yeah. And also in New York, people don't give a shit if you're making a movie. Oftentimes there'd be a PA and be like, we're shooting. They're like, we don't care.
It's like
keep walking.
The famous "I'm walking here." That's a real, right?
Yeah.
The car was really almost hit him.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
I got to say, when Foggy stands up to his on again, off again love interest.
Oh yeah.
Great moment.
Yeah.
The character.
Well, hi, my
There
name
needs
is.
to be more Mighty Ducks, Little Giants questions.
I'm kind of surprised.
I'm ready.
Well, I wasn't allowed to watch the Mighty Ducks as a kid. I grew up in a weird household. But my name's Larissa. I'm from Nevada. And I was just wondering what you guys picture Anton being like grown up. What would he be doing? Would he be with Molly? And would Mick and Pnub still be messing with him if it were today in Idle Hands?
Wait, didn't Mick and Pnub die?
Yeah, would they still be haunting him?
Yeah, we
messing
bought
with
it,
him?
right? Yeah, I guess we would still be haunting him, you know?
They live in my grow house with me.
Yeah, exactly.
I won't give up the fact that weed is legal. I'm still growing it and selling it illegally. And they are there with me for the ride.
I like it. Yeah, it works.
Thank you.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Charlia, originally from Massachusetts, but I live in New Hampshire now. So I'm bringing it back, don't hate me. Wild America. My question is, were you guys ever, I know that they had fake bears, but were you guys ever in
They were fake. What are you talking about? Those were men in bear suits. All real.
Were you guys ever actually in an area with the real bears, and did they freak you out?
They had the real bears, but we were not very close to them. There was a little electric wire around them. There was one or two bears for a day, and then literally there was dudes in bear costumes. So when you watch the movie,
You see them do this.
my kids don't like that movie. It's really sad.
You still remember the song?
Was that
You
the
remember
Mountain
the
Dew
song? Yes.
No, we won't go there. The mechanical moose, the snakes on sticks.
And Elden, what was your favorite Mighty Ducks movie to shoot?
Probably, I think the first one.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one was, it was just so much fun, you know. We had hockey camps before each movie, so we had 4 weeks of hockey camp, which is hilarious because they didn't let us do anything ourselves anyways, you know. They were always so afraid we were gonna get hurt. And you know, my brother got to be in those movies with me, so you know, all of them are special. But I think the first one was probably my favorite, just because it was new and you know, there wasn't as many expectations and you know, as you keep making movies, that it feels harder to stay true to what they're really about in the beginning, you know? And so, yeah, you know, for me growing up, I was a big fan of the Bad News Bears. And this, you know, Mighty Ducks was kind of like a hockey version of that. And so that was kind of cool. And you know, I still get people coming up to this day, talking kids saying they love the movie. And the fact that people are still watching it is really special, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, my name's Emma. I'm from the most interesting place in the world, Iowa. I had a question specifically about this subgenre of horror comedies. How do you balance the funny elements with the scary elements in a movie to make that perfect balance, like in Idle Hands?
Well, for me, I think it was just never trying to tip the joke, you know, trying to play it as real as you possibly can, even though what you're doing is really silly. But you know, I don't like it when I feel like I'm watching someone who's in on the joke, right? You don't want the characters you're watching to be in on that joke. You just want them to be.
Yeah, you let the situation be funny. You kind of just play it as straight as you can, and let the situation around you be funny.
Yeah. I wanted to say also, I watched Chucky when my babysitter accidentally turned that on instead of The Grinch. I was scarred. Didn't watch any horror movies until I met my amazing husband, who showed me how amazing this horror community is. So shout out to him, and now I love Chucky. So, thank you.
What's good, guys? Thank you for being here. I'm Sean, New York City. If you can take your characters from Idle Hands at any stage, Angel, Zombie, or Live, pre-hand, after you lost it, whatever, if you could take those characters and put them in another film of yours, like you have the Stoners playing hockey in Mighty Ducks, or Anton is having the premonitions, like what movies would you love to see these characters from Idle Hands be put into?
That's easy. I did this movie called The Fanatic.
Okay.
I think it would be a much more interesting movie if we put Anton in that house with John Travolta as Moose, and I think that would be.
I was going to say, not that it isn't an interesting movie already.
It's an interesting movie, but it could get much more interesting if we throw some weed in there, you know.
I don't know, man. Pnub in maybe in the Hunger Games. See how long he lasts.
Carrying the head.
Yeah, carrying the head for sure.
I can see him going up against Kingpin.
Oh yeah.
That's a fight I'd like to see.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Lazy for Kingpin.
Hi guys, Joe from Connecticut. I admire everything you do. It's a hard business to stay relevant in, and you guys do it well. My question is for both of you. Have you reached the role in your career that you've said to yourself, I'm satisfied and everything else is bonus after this? Are you still hoping to get that?
Well, for me, I don't think, it's about being creative, right? And if I'm not acting, I'm, playing music, or I'm, working on some art pieces or whatever it is, just to fill that creative void that I feel. So I don't think I'll ever be satisfied and want to hang it up. I feel like I need it.
I think you're always kind of chasing the dragon. I think you always want to find that next better thing. That's what inspires me to keep going. I always want to be doing something better. I want to keep moving ahead, finding something that's interesting and creative and new, and it's been a wild road so far, and so hopefully there's a lot more.
You guys are still hungry. That's great. That's what I like to hear.
Totally hungry.
Looking forward to the future then. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tabor. I'm from New Hampshire. So, bring it back to Idle Hands. Your right hand was possessed for demonic purposes. If you had to choose another body part that would be possessed for demonic purposes, don't say left hand, go.
If I had to choose another body part that gets possessed other than...
For demonic purposes.
What is this movie rated?
It's on the internet, so it can be rated anything.
It could get really funny.
Yeah.
I think that I like having like an idle foot would be. I just think there'd be some cool scenes where like he gets in a car and he can't get his foot off the gas pedal, or it has.
And act it out right now.
Yeah, you want me to?
Yes, please. There's no one behind me.
No, I think the foot would be I'm not acting it out.
Thank you.
I'm definitely not doing idle foot on this stage right now. All right. It'd be the foot. I'm sure.
Eldon, your body part that you would like to have possessed?
Oh man, I thought I was going to get away with that.
Nope, I wasn't going to
answer this. How about my big toe?
I have an answer also. My Heart by a Beautiful Woman.
Oh.
Thank you very much, everybody. That's a perfect place to stop. Devon, Eldon, fantastic.
Thank
Super
you.
Fun. And you guys are out and about. People can come see you on the floor. And
thank you, everybody.
Yes.
That video was delicious. And good for you, too. I know, I'm a doctor. And I'm also poor, which is hellaciously funny because you'll never see a poor doctor. Trust me and subscribe already. Have fun and eat another video.